Hi, and welcome to Timeout with us. Today we are doing something a little different. We want to express the importance of health and safety, and we want you to hear our stories. Thank you.
Hello, can you introduce yourself to us today?
Hi, my name is Anna, and I am the host for today's podcast.
Hi,
Please introduce yourself.
my name is Kay, and I'm part of the Timeout podcast with my beautiful circle of friends.
Hi, my name is Maly. I am part of the Timeout with Us podcast crew member.
Hi,
Please introduce yourself.
my name is MC. I am also part of the Timeout with Us podcast.
Do you know what our topic is about today?
Yes, trauma.
Do you know what our topic is about today?
Yeah, I kind of have an idea. Do you know what our topic for today is?
Yes, our topic is about trauma, mental health, and anxieties. Do you know what our topic is about today?
I sure hope it ain't my drinking problem.
It's not, don't worry. Do you know what trauma means?
I don't know word for word or what the definition of trauma means, but I can definitely tell you I know what trauma feels like.
I don't. I know the experience, but I know that anxiety is a real matter.
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't do research. But I know what it feels like, and I know what it means to me.
I want to have a concrete definition of what trauma is. I think it's an event that happens to you that changes you maybe in a negative way. So Google defines trauma as a noun, a deeply distressing or disturbing experience. A personal trauma like the death of a child. There's also psychological trauma, and that is damage to a person's mind as a result of one or more distressing events causing overwhelming amounts of stress that exceeds a person's ability to cope or integrate the emotions involved, eventually leading to serious long-term negative consequences. So yeah, that's what trauma is.
What is your earliest memory of trauma or anxiety?
Oh God, I was really young, so maybe like 4 or 5, really, really young, yeah.
My earliest memory would I don't know, now I'm thinking back.
My first clear memory of anxiety was a couple years ago when I was preparing my wedding, and also I was in a 4-month coding boot camp. So I remember having my first very awful panic attack.
To be honest, I don't think that I have like a memory of something traumatic happening to me. Like, I don't know, I had a good life.
Back then I didn't feel anything. I was very carefree. I was extremely playful with everything that I did. And so nothing really mattered to me then. You know what? Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, my actual first, no, I don't think it's my actual, because I can only remember back that far, but my first one would probably be when I went to a new school and the environment was so different from my last, and it affected me in a way that I did not think that it would.
I just remember literally I was so young and I was going through depression, right? It's like you would think someone so young, like, what are you depressed about?
Actually, you know, I didn't even realize that I had anxiety until my husband pointed it out. He mentioned that, you know, when we first started dating, I wasn't able to order food by myself. And I know it's a funny situation because who doesn't know how to order food, right? But I think, like, me realizing it now, I think that was some sort of like anxiety, you know, like anxiety with like meeting new people, or anxiety with like talking to new people.
And I was on the phone, I think, and then all of a sudden I started having this really bad panic attack. I felt like I couldn't breathe, and everything around me started to feel what's that word? It's that word where, yeah, not hyperventilating too. You know, like you're in confined small space and you feel like
Claustrophobic?
yeah. It was I was hyperventilating and very claustrophobic. Felt very claustrophobic.
It was really the way I was raised and the expectations, you know, in my household, right? My parents are really strict, so that didn't help a lot. And not to mention that both my parents grew up in very strict and traditional households, meaning that, you know, women are expected to do things, men are expected to act and do certain things as well. And so, and my parents, they grew in a third world country, right? So at a really young age, they had to grow up too. And they put all of those expectations on me, you know? And so as a 4-year-old, when you're being told that, you know, you're lazy because you like to sleep until 8 in the morning, or, you know, you should learn how to wash the dishes, and if you can't get things right the first time, you're dumb, you know, or you're just lazy and you're not teachable, right? So really that expectation of perfection is really, I'm pretty sure, what caused my depression at such an early age.
I don't know specifically when it started or like how it started. I just remember, like, I just have a hard time talking to people, and when I talk to people, it's like I don't know what to say, you know.
With the environment that I was in, the new school kind of made me feel like it was wrong to be the way that I was, and I really closed myself off from the rest of basically my classmates. You know, the school that I was in, it turned me into a different person, a quieter person, a reserved person. Has your anxiety affected you or your family negatively?
I don't think I have any impact with my family, just because I don't talk to my family about these issues, and I tend to keep it to myself. I don't really talk about it with my friends or my now husband.
Honestly, my parents, I guess, they don't know about my depression. One time I tried to tell my mom that I had depression, and that I was seeing a therapist, you know, and she was just like, why do you need to go see a therapist for that? You know, like that, like, why do you feel like that? And it's really ironic because at the time my mom had depression and she was seeing a therapist, and so I thought, oh, if my mom knows what depression is and if she is going through, you know, therapy, then it's okay for me to open up myself, you know, and what I'm going through with my mom. But for some reason, she wasn't able to understand that I would also have depression and that I also needed counseling.
I don't think this problem with me affects my family or anyone else around me. I think it just deals more with me and my personal life, and like how I live my life day to day, you know, like how I make connections with other people, how I talk to other people, how I communicate with them, you know. It's more of my personal demon that I struggle with every day.
How do you identify it now?
I identify as, you know, I mean, depression is definitely a mental illness, right? And so some days I'm really good, you know, some days I'm just really bad, and you know, I wake up and it's like I can't help it that I wake up and I'm like sad, you know. It's not that I want to be sad, I just am sad.
I found a safe place, and I'm trying to make sure that I don't fall into depression or feel sad that could lead to having a panic attack.
My anxiety identifies as something else now. It identifies as something as little as to that I feel uncomfortable and I don't want to do it. And that's when I know that it's because of something that is like mentally crippling to me that I don't want to do it, or that, you know, it's, I hope she cuts all that extra stuff out, but
It's okay, you're doing good.
but some cues that I used to pick it up is like nail biting, or combing through my hair, or being indecisive. Those are some of the cues that I have.
For me, it's hard to identify my anxieties. I think someone needs to point it out for me, maybe just because I don't have a lot of self-awareness of myself.
It's something that is ongoing, but I know that's something that I can work through.
Do you ever find yourself identifying it in others?
I don't see it in others, and maybe that's just because I'm like super engrossed in my own world and in my own emotions. You know, that depression isn't something that you can easily spot, right? I'm pretty sure that a lot of my friends think, you know, I'm like always happy and smiling, and honestly I'm like very immature, you know, I'm like always joking around and stuff like that. So when I first started telling some of my college friends that I had depression, they were just kind of like, what? Like, you're depressed? Like, but you don't look like you have depression, you know? So it's not something that's easily spotted.
Sometimes.
And how do you know?
I look for my cues in other people, and I guess it makes me feel not alone.
Oh, I think everyone has their own struggles, and everyone goes through their own situations, and they have their own stories. I don't find my stories in them, you know.
Based on your past experience and what you faced, what advice would you give to your younger self?
If I could go back, I would tell myself talk more like to my friends and my husband, because you know, I know that they love and care for me, and it's healthy to open up and talk to people. You don't have to feel like nobody's there listening to you or they're gonna judge you, because that's why you have friends and family who loves and appreciate how crazy you may seem.
I think honestly, I don't even know, you know, because like I'm still depressed, right? So it's like, if whatever advice I give right now, I would have to also take that advice, you know, at the end of this video. But I think what I would tell like my 4-year-old self is that I shouldn't worry about perfection and having to be perfect, because I'm not stupid, you know, like I'm not dumb, and it's okay if I don't get it right the first time, because it's life, you know. You never get it right the first time, and life is it's a lesson you learn every day. So yeah.
That you're a badass woman, that you don't need to be afraid, and that you just live your life the way you want to live it, because it's your life, you know, it's not nobody else. You are the creator, the author, the writer of your own story. Just live your life the way you want to live it, and not the way anybody else wants you to live it.
I love it. Thank you. I forgot the question. Sorry.
It's okay. Based on the anxiety that you have right now, what advice would you give your younger self?
This too shall pass. Yeah. Thank you for joining us on today's episode of Timeout with us. To end this episode, I am leaving help hotlines down below. Please reach out if you are going through a crisis. Remember, you are not alone. Thank you.